We are back,
And we're live.
fans. Let's fucking do this.
All right, sports fans, how's it going? All right. I wanted to read a quick poem to start us off today, if that's all right with you.
Great.
And I think it's on brand. Here goes. Well, I tried to tell you so, but I guess you didn't know. As the saddest story goes, baby, now I got the flow. 'Cause I knew it from the start, baby, when you broke my heart, that I had to come again and show you that I'd win. You lied to me all those times I said that I loved you, a few times over. Return of the Mac, return of the Mac, return of the Mac. You know that I'll be back.
I knew I heard it somewhere, and I was like, I couldn't place it until you started saying that.
Don't you think that's fitting, though? That we're back? It's like Return of the Mac, isn't it?
Return. We weren't gone too long, were we?
Well, I think
2, 3 weeks?
I think it's been more, like a month.
Oh, shit.
Since the last episode. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? What have all of the sports fans been doing for the last month?
With no new
if they haven't been listening to us talking shit for an hour.
Yeah, well, here we go. Let's bring it back.
I heard you had a busy month.
Yep.
Do you want to tell me about it?
Well, we went to Italy, which was pretty awesome. 2 weeks just traveling around. Florence, Rome, Naples, Sicily, Amalfi. It was very good.
Sounds pretty rad.
It was, and it was my first real time to the old world. Because I've been to Scotland, and I've been to England, and I've been to Iceland, and every time I say I've been to Europe, everyone's like, that's not Europe. So
I think I think they have a point.
They do. I totally get it because when we landed, and
Britain's different.
Yeah, like we drove up to Florence, and it was different, man. It was just like there was no real, I guess, organization to the streets. It's just like very tiny little streets, one ways, like zones where you cannot travel, scooters flying around. It felt very Southeast Asian. And I was like, oh, okay, I had to change my thinking about driving in Italy very quickly.
Did you rent a car?
Yeah.
What did you have?
A Fiat 500.
It's very fitting, isn't it?
Very fitting, and it was 6-speed. Holy shit. Not so good for the highways because it's just screaming at about 3,500 revs. But it was good fun.
It fits the place, doesn't it? Like, you wouldn't do very well driving your truck around there.
Fuck, man, I couldn't believe... It only made sense after, like, driving through Florence and then down to, like, Naples. Holy fuck, man. Like, the cars are just dinged up. Scratches, mirrors busted off them, like, all sorts.
Well, Italians drive like maniacs as well.
Absolute maniacs. There's, like, a speed limit that doesn't mean shit to them. I actually started thinking if I was on like an autobahn, because I was doing 130 as the limit, and people overtaking me like flying. It was crazy.
There's something in the water down there, I reckon.
Yeah.
Like they're all. I mean, there's tons of Italians that live in London, right? Like,
okay, yeah,
thousands and thousands of them. And all of the Italian stereotypes are true.
Dude.
Like they are exactly as described.
They're fucking nuts.
Yeah. Why is that?
Nuts. I don't know, man. I tell you, like like we enjoyed like Florence and Tuscany and stuff, and then Naples started getting a bit sketchy, and then we go down to Sicily, and it was like a third world country, man. It was fucking different.
Yeah, I think I think that's the what outsiders don't realize about Europe is just how regionally different it is,
Yeah,
and the regional inequality. Let's say
yeah,
that you can go to London or Paris or Milan,
yeah,
and it feels like the center of the universe. But only a 2 hour drive away, you're in some village, and you're almost shocked that they have internet there.
yeah. We were talking to a guy, and he said anything lower than Rome, like it's vastly different. Anything
Yeah,
lower than Rome is like very, very different in Italy, and you could imagine like Milan or Bologna or like other areas where it's just very modern. And I guess that gives it the old world charm. Like it was very eye opening. I wasn't ready for it. I would look at the map, I'd look at Google Maps, and I'd be so confused on why it would take half an hour to drive 15 kilometers. And then, and it's going through like 5 or 6 villages. I'm like, okay, there's going to be plenty of stores to stop by. There's so many villages, and then there's nothing in these villages at all. Like a couple of people just walking the street. That's it.
yeah, and what you get the further south you go in Europe, you get more and more people just kind of standing around doing nothing.
Yeah, I thought that was definitely a stereotype, and then I actually seen it.
Yeah, and you often wonder, don't you? You think, well, what are they actually doing? And they're actually just standing around.
Just standing around.
They're just chilling.
Yeah.
They're just chilling. Look, I haven't been to Italy, but I'm curious whether you saw this because you see it in Spain a lot. It's
Like
just
just roaming
dogs
the
running
streets.
around. Yeah,
No.
really.
No, but there was
Well,
a
if you
lot of
it,
dogs though, which was super cool to see. Like even in the cities, like large breeds, small breeds, like in Tuscany at farms and stuff. Sicily had a whole bunch of dogs, but yeah, like that, I kind of had the feeling that they were definitely owned or had a family. They definitely weren't stray.
well in Spain, it's not that the dogs are stray necessarily, but there's just dogs around, and
Huh.
I've never ever seen a dog on a leash in Spain.
I did notice that a couple of times, even in the cities like Florence and Rome, people would walk their dogs off leash, but the dogs are so
Yeah,
good, and they would walk right by them, just
yeah,
like on the cobble street, just chilling.
yeah. The dogs in southern Europe are way more chill than the people.
Yeah, yeah, I'd agree with that. Yeah, tell you what though,
That's funny. That
I tell you,
Go on.
like after landing, uh, and then jumping in the truck and driving, man, it felt so weird, dude. Just like people were indicating from lane to lane, and just like there was so much space in the lanes, and everyone was just driving like at the speed that was 100. They were doing like 105. Like no one was really acting up. It was very different. It felt very safe. That feeling only lasted for like a week though. But
Like when you got back to
yeah,
Canada.
yeah,
I mean, there's something when you live in Canada and you go to Europe and you go back to Canada, you realize just how docile Canada is.
it's very slow.
Like it's such a safe,
Yeah.
almost like sterilized country.
Oh yeah.
Everyone there's such order in Canada.
In comparison to Italy, where it's fucking madness.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, even compared to Britain,
Oh yeah.
in Canada, there's just everything is calm and orderly.
Yeah.
and people walk in straight lines and people drive sensibly. You come to Europe and Britain are the same, and everyone's just rushing, everyone's zigzagging, everyone's cutting in front of each other. Like
Yeah.
there's a rush to it. I remember once being stuck in traffic in a car, and the car in front of me moved forward about 15 feet, and I didn't immediately fill that gap.
Oh
And
yes.
the guy behind me honked at me
Dude.
for not immediately filling that gap. And we still had about 200 or 300 feet of traffic in front of me before we got to the roundabout.
I think the difference with like something like that, like big city like New York or
This was in Wales.
or okay, that's strange. But uh, even in like Canada, as you're saying, the Canadian people are just so nice. I don't think no one would have snaked you if you're in Canada with a 15 feet gap. They would hit the horn and be like, "Do you mind going forward, please?
the
Please, do you mind?"
the Canadian stereotype about people being nice is 100% accurate.
100% accurate.
Canadians are the nicest people I've ever met. The most
Yeah,
polite, the most friendly, and genuinely hospitable people as well.
yeah, for sure.
Like they take you in
Yeah,
and they look after you.
yeah, and just
You
apologize profusely.
Yeah, Europe is a bit more cutthroat than that.
Yeah, and then same as Australia, right? Like no one wants to know you, but once they get to know you, it's game
Yeah,
on. But
yeah,
but it's like, oh, I don't know about this foreigner.
yeah. You had a good time though,
Yeah,
Italy.
sick. Oh, like I was trying to track down the best carbonara. Just doing a whole bunch of research. Found this little hole in a wall. Had like 10 seats or something. It was just unreal carbonara. And then
Mm.
we were staying pretty central in an area in Rome, about maybe 20 minutes from the Vatican. And then we were like, okay, let's go out for dinner. It's like 7 o'clock. So we're like, you have a couple of cocktails. And I look at this menu and there's a carbonara. And I was like, oh, I'm not going to have a second one. And the waiter comes up and he's like, oh, do you see anything you'd like? And I was like, well, I'll get the cacio pepe, but what's that carbonara like? And he goes, it's the best in Rome. I was like, I was like, I don't know about that because I literally just had it. And he goes, where? And I showed him a photo of the name, and he goes, look, if you don't like the carbonara when you order it, I'll pay for it for you. And I was like, fucking deal. Like, I haven't had anything like that in Italy yet. So I'm like, all right, deal. And I started eating it, and I kind of looked at Mel, and I was like, shit, this is fucking good. And he's kind of seen it, and he's kind of left the other table, come walking up to me, and he goes, and I was like, it's pretty fucking good, man. he's like, yeah, good. Like he didn't have to pay for it, like 20 euros. But fucking, he's like, yeah, it's the best. And I literally had
They
2 carbonaras in one day, and I could feel my fucking blood vessels and veins just filling up with that good.
well, I would imagine that you have two carbonaras most days. No, you strike me as
Maybe
a two carbonara kind of guy.
fuck you. uh,
You know what they say? You gotta eat big to get big, right?
yeah, and I did get big after this. Fucking hell. I literally put on 4.5 kilo in 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks.
Yeah. I shook it off. I shook
That's
most of it off. I got back down to like 100.5. So I shook off 4 kilo in about a week, but it was hard shaking it off, bro.
So you're saying that you're not victim weight?
I'm no. I'm on 100, 101 kilos right now, so I'm solid. I'm well out of victim range.
Good. I just wanted to confirm that for the sports fans, not victim weight over here,
Yeah.
just in case anyone was worried.
Um, but yeah, the pasta was sick. Up in Florence, they have the Florentine, the bistecca. Fuck man, that thing's insane. It comes from these
Mm,
cows. Have you seen the cows in Florence?
you've made me all hungry now.
Yeah, dude. You should, dude. Google an
No,
image of
tell
these
tell me about the cows.
these cows, man. They're like majestic. They're all white. There's no like spots or anything.
Let me look this up.
Yeah. Fuck. What are they called? Yeah. Just Google like Florentine cow. Dude, they look jacked. They're fucking muscular, and they have this little hump over the shoulders. They are big cows. Fucking huge.
Uh, so it's the Chianina
That's it.
cow,
Yeah.
Italian breed of large white cattle.
Yeah, dude. Majestic beast, that thing.
Says that a male can weigh between 1,200 and 1,500 kilo.
Man, a side by side, I saw a farmer standing next to one, and they're huge, man.
Shit, that thing is massive.
Yeah, dude, and it's stacked. It's a fucking big boy.
That cow's not victim weight.
So they do like the
That thing's
bistecca.
huge.
It's like a dry aged T-bone cut steak, and you don't even get to choose the temperature. Like I was kind of like medium rare. It just comes out rare. Like don't do this steak well done. Don't ask for medium. Don't do a medium rare plus or minus. Just make them cook it the way it's supposed to be done. Because I don't normally eat rare meat. Gone in that medium rare, and even sometimes with a ribeye, a little bit of a medium. But this at rare, fuck me,
Yeah,
insane.
and you know a thing or two about steaks as well.
Just a thing, yeah. A couple of things or two. Yeah. I don't. Yeah, I'm not allergic to meat. That's for sure.
Hey, that would suck, wouldn't it? Like, that would really suck.
Yeah.
There's a tick, that'll make you allergic to meat.
Really?
Have you heard about this?
Like the bug, the insect.
Yeah, there's a tick in America. It's called the Lone Star tick.
I've
And
heard of that name.
just looks like a normal tick, but it's got a little white dot on its back. And this tick, if it bites you, it can lead to a condition that makes you allergic to red meat.
Get the fuck out of here.
I don't know about you. I'd probably just off myself if I got that.
Like red meat. I mean, you can still eat chicken, turkey, fish. I mean, there's no need to off yourself, bro. You can still eat. Look at him. I'm a grass is greener kind of guy, right? You're the dark.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Can you imagine?
Yeah,
Can you imagine going to a party and someone's like, "Oh, we got a steak on. We got a big Côte de Boeuf cooking up. Oh no, I can't eat that. Have you got any chicken?"
Look at the face.
I once went out for a Sunday roast, right? Which is, I mean, that's a fun thing to do in London on a Sunday. And I was so hungover, I couldn't face beef, so I ordered chicken instead. And this was a long time ago, and I get rinsed for it constantly for getting chicken. One time.
Brilliant.
And I get it, because if someone else had done that, I would never let them forget it. Can you imagine going out to a pub on a Sunday for a roast, and saying, "Yeah, I'll have chicken, please."
Well, it's just like ordering fish in a restaurant. It's just weird.
Yeah, I'll tell you. I'll tell you what though. I wouldn't order fish in a restaurant.
But how much fish did you order in Hawaii? Did you go to the poke spot I told you to go to?
No, I didn't go to that spot, but I.
Uh,
Let me tell you this. I had a lot of poke in Hawaii.
you
I
think your
can't even tell
mercury
you
levels just
how much I had. Okay, well, listen to this, right? I've been doing a little bit of research on this about tuna, and just not just tuna, but think like big predatory fish, right? Like tuna
okay?
or swordfish. They have
Mahi mahi.
high levels of heavy met. Yeah, they have high levels of heavy metals,
Yeah.
and the concern is if you eat a lot of them, that builds up inside of you, and there are toxic effects to it. Turns out there's good research to say that if you eat those fish raw, then your body's better able to manage that and get rid of the heavy metals that are inside of it.
Really?
But if you cook it, when you cook it, you denature it, and then your body cannot process it as well, and that's when it ends up accumulating. So if you're going to eat tuna, you got to eat it raw,
Just like the sushi.
which is fine by me.
Fucking right.
I will only eat tuna raw from now on,
Yeah.
by the kilo.
Remember the last? Remember last time we talked? We talked about sunscreen.
Yeah.
So the last few days in Rome, every other day was quite mild, but the sun was out. But in Rome, sun decided to come out. I was there for 3.5 days. 27, 28, and 29 degrees Celsius. I'm like, this is too hot for me. I don't get down with this kind of weather. My optimal range is around 20, 21, 21.5. Anything that exceeds 22, you can forget about it. So I'm in an area that I don't want to be at, right? Not Rome. I'm just talking temperature. And Mrs. like, oh, you want to check on some sunblock? I was like, nah, I'm good. And walking around, like I wasn't. I mean, I was hiding in the shade every now and then. I'd use a castle to shade me, like it's tight streets. I wasn't intentionally trying to get sun, but I got a bit red. Got a bit red. It's been warm here the last few days actually. Got a bit red. But one thing I did fucking notice though is that I didn't peel. Didn't like get that aggressive burn or the burn that hurts. And I feel like if I used the sunscreen, I feel like that would have been a waste because nothing happened to me.
Well, the the research that I've seen is that what sunscreen does is that it blocks UVB rays.
Right. But
Um,
there's UVA as well, right?
there's UVA as well, but UVB is what causes the physical symptoms of a sunburn.
Right.
Right, the symptoms that you see the day of or in the
Okay.
following days.
Yeah.
Um, but what sunscreen does is that it tricks your body into thinking that it's okay. If you are in the sun too much, you will burn, and there will be bad long-term downstream effects from that.
Right.
And what sunscreen does is that it's it provides the illusion of sun protection, right? Your body is incredibly smart, and your body will tell you get out of the sun
Yeah.
when you've been in it too much. And what sunscreen does is it blocks that natural instinct. So in the same way that your body tells you you're thirsty or you're hungry,
Okay.
right? So what if you don't wear sunscreen, you can feel when you've had too much sun,
Yeah.
right? Your body will tell you because your skin will feel sensitive to the sun. And
Yeah.
then you get out of the sun and you don't burn.
Exactly.
What sunscreen does is blocks that feeling,
A
so
false
you end
security.
up no it blocks the feeling of sensitivity,
Mm.
so you end up spending way too much time in the sun, and therefore you get all of the negatives that do come around from excess sun exposure,
Right.
right? So it's a thin false veil of protection,
Yeah. Okay. Because I
right?
knew, like I knew if I was standing out there and I'm like, holy shit, like, especially the Vatican, we were there early in the morning, so many people, and then we were just standing in line, and I was like, shit, this is getting warm. So I kind of just hopped into the shade, waited for the line to come up, and just jump back in the line. And I was
Yeah,
kind of
and
just
that's
doing,
exactly
I was kind of just doing that all day, and I never really felt like I was like, oh, I'm getting sunburned hard.
and that's exactly what you should do, right?
Yeah.
Whereas if you use sunscreen, the temptation and the easy thing to end up doing is just to spend way too much time in direct sun,
Yeah.
and you think you're safe,
Yeah.
right? It
Yeah.
provides
Yeah. Makes
a
sense.
false sense of security. Like the sun, first of all, is and can be really good for you, right? You should get sun in your life, but if you get too much, especially like midday summer sun,
Yeah.
you can overdo it, right?
Yeah.
And different people handle it better than others. But sunscreen tricks you, tricks your body into thinking
Yeah. That
that
totally makes
it's
sense.
alright. And this is the thing about sunglasses as well. Do you know about this?
Well,
If
it's
you wear
kind of like a
sunglasses,
was kind of like a oh, what is it? It's like a what's the thing the chemical that gets released when you want to go to sleep? Melatonin. It's a melatonin blocker, right?
I think you're thinking of melanin.
Melanin. Well, melatonin makes you want to go to
Melanin,
sleep. So
yeah,
by wearing
melanin,
sunglasses all day, you're tricking the brain into thinking that it's still like it's not as bright as it should be. So the production of melatonin is then not produced adequately enough to help you sleep. Is that it?
yeah. So,
Or is it legit
well,
melon? I can't remember.
no. That is a factor, right? If you wear sunglasses all day, a few things happen. One of them is that your whole body's interconnected, right? All
Yeah.
of your senses tell your body what it should be doing. If you wear sunglasses, your eyes aren't getting a lot of bright light into them,
Right.
so then your skin doesn't react appropriately to the bright sunshine. So first of
Right.
all, your skin then doesn't adapt well enough to the bright light, and therefore you're more likely to burn. The second thing another thing is that if you wear sunglasses, you don't get the bright light in your eyes, and you're supposed to get bright light in your eyes in the middle of the day, and that is part of maintaining your circadian rhythm.
Right. So
And it's like staying inside all day. If you stay inside all day, you're not going to sleep as well at night as if you were out for
yeah, and if
most
you're
of the
staring
day.
at like a computer screen all day. or a TV
Yeah,
all day. Yeah,
yeah.
no, I hear
Wearing
you.
sunglasses in the middle of the day is just as disruptive for your sleep as watching a bright screen late at night,
Um, yeah, uh,
right? Because
I've been getting up, like when I get up in the morning, like I'll take the dog out, and I used to do it with sunglasses. I don't anymore, and I just like walk and kind of like consciously not stare at the sun, but look towards it, and do that in the morning. So the circadian rhythm, and I don't know, man, like off the booze every now and then, like off the booze when I came back for a week. Like all the biomarkers, HRV status, and everything just came back to normal. Good.
what from looking at the sun?
Well, no, from just being off the booze, and just looking at the sun. By looking at the sun, going to bed at an appropriate time. Being tired when I want to go to bed, not dicking about on my phone before going to sleep, staring at a
I'll tell you
screen.
what I've noticed about the sun is okay. I've noticed my vision is not as good as it was when I was 21.
Okay.
Right? Specifically, long distance.
Okay.
Right? I don't need glasses necessarily, but it's like things that in way in the distance I don't see as well as I did when I was 21.
How old are you? You're 30, aren't you? 31, 34, 32.
I'm 31.
Yeah, 31.
I'm 31. So like I think that's normal, isn't it?
I truly believe my eyesight's still fucking killing it.
Well, I'll tell you this. I've started making sure that I get lots of sunlight, especially when I wake up.
Yeah.
And if I get good sunlight, specifically early in the morning, I can see better all day.
Huh. Isn't that
And I
cool?
don't know enough to be able to tell you exactly why, how that works. But if I get bright sun in the morning, or even in the middle of the day, I can see better long distance.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Try it one day. And what I've obviously in the middle of the day, don't look directly in the sun
No.
because it's dull. But what you can do is if you close your eyes, like close your eyelids, and then look towards the sun,
Yeah.
that has the same effect as kind of looking at it
It's
in
kind
the
of like
morning or in the
it's
evening.
kind of like putting down the curtains, kind of. But you
Yeah,
still get the brightness, but it's not sharp.
yeah, exactly, exactly. And if you try that, I mean, what I like to do, the way I measure my vision, especially long distance vision, is looking at car number plates
Oh yeah.
and just think and I mean, I feel like because they're the same size everywhere,
Yeah.
it's uniform shape, and it's easy to change the distance, right? And if you're like, well,
Yeah.
I'm 50 feet away from that one and I can read it, and then I'm 100 feet from that one and I can't read that. So like
Huh.
that I've been using car number plates as like a marker for like how far can I read that number plate.
Like this might sound a bit woo woo, but I did see
I love
a
woo
gen-
woo.
I, I did see a gentleman that I follow on Instagram and know quite well. Um, he posted a thing about like eye workouts. Have you heard of these?
I don't know what.
So you're just saying like you like to test yourself with long distance of going like on number plates, 50 feet, 100 feet, 200 feet, whatever, right? There's these eye workouts that you can do. Like say, for example, you're sitting at a park. You're sitting at Hyde Park, right? And there's a bench, and you look at something that's, I don't know, a meter away from you, and then something that's 5 meters away from you, and then something that's 10 meters away from you. So let's just say that a meter thing is a Coca-Cola can, and then 5 meters away from you is a tree, or another bench, and then 10 meters away is another tree. These 3 points, you just dart your eyes. Once your eye locks onto it, look at the other thing, and then look at the other thing, and you kind of just move your eyes, and then you can kind of like, instead of going like close, middle, far, you can go far, close, middle, and then, or like do different combinations, add more things to look at that are different lengths away, and you can do this for like 2 minutes. Like you do this like 2 minutes.
So like
5 minutes,
you're like you said, an actual just workout. Like you're
exactly.
making your eye work.
You're making your eye work, and it's like cognitive ability as well for your brain, that you're just chopping around, like looking at these different things. And like I don't know, like in my head when I was kind of watching it, I was like, for some reason that kind of makes sense, or it's just like alertness. But by doing that for your eyes, I wonder if you have better eye health by doing close, middle, far.
Probably, right? Like we weren't. The trouble is these, right?
Yeah.
We weren't designed to sit around focusing on something 2 feet away from our face all day.
Yeah.
You know, like if you go out for a walk and you're just looking around normally, how often are you actually staring at something a foot or 2 feet away from your face?
Yeah.
Like we've gotten so used to just having a really short focal length all the time.
Yeah.
That we never look in the distance anymore.
Yeah, and I guess that's kind of cool. Like you don't have to be sitting down at the park, but for me, like in Canada, doing that by going on like a hike, and you're doing a hike and you look at you look at a tree or then a rock, and then you might see a fucking deer, right? Like just darting around your eyes, or like looking at a tree branch, something more specific, the person in front of you, whatever. But doing it while you're walking, keeping you engaged, you're observing everything. Do that for like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever. On a long ass hike, 10, 20 Ks, just keep the brain active, I guess. But that's very caveman, isn't it? That's very caveman or hunter.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Always scanning
but
around,
it comes back to the same thing, right? I think that you use it or lose it, right?
Yeah.
And if you don't use your muscles to lift things, you lose them. And if you don't use your eyes to look at things far away, you lose the ability to see things far away.
Yeah.
You know, because you're just not trained. You're not training that reflex anymore.
Yeah.
If you sit looking at a computer screen all day, then your eyes will adapt to that, and you won't be able to see far away anymore.
Yeah.
Like that makes intuitive sense to me.
Yeah, it really does. It really does when I say it out loud. I'll see if I can find that post and send it to you. But
yeah.
But yeah, it's very interesting. But yeah, it's 100% right. Like that's what makes me, I don't know, like I saw, what was it? Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart had a car crash, and it was pretty gnarly. But the doctor said because you were so fit and you're muscular fit in the car crash, like you got a broken leg or whatever, but you'll be able to heal better, or you'll be able to walk and recover faster. That's what kind of like scares me as I get into like older age, and I guess why I kind of ramp up my physical and like ability is just because I don't want to wake up in the morning and like get out of bed and all of a sudden I've just slipped a disc or fucking pelvis, or you take a fall, like all that crap, right? All that older age stuff. I don't want to be about that shit.
Yeah.
The only way to get there now is that when you're 60, you're not going to deadlift 400. You're going to start deadlifting 400 now.
Have you seen what Sean
Don't say
Baker has said that he
it.
wants to be able to do at 60 years old?
Oh fuck! What did he say? Was it pull-ups?
Let me see if I let me see if I can find this. He's got a list. Let's have a look here. He posted about it the other day, and
You did what?
I don't know if I can. Okay, I know one thing that he definitely wants to do is to be able to dunk at 60
That's
years
right.
old.
That's right. Yeah, I thought it. Yeah, I thought it was like up there.
Where
A
was the
couple
other
of
one?
notches.
There was another one as well. I can't find it. But he said he wants to be able to dunk at 60, and I think there was an amount of pull-ups that he wanted to do,
Yeah,
and uh, maybe a deadlift that he wanted to do as well.
I think the
That guy's an
dunking one.
animal.
I think the dunking one is like it doesn't apply itself. It only applies itself to dunking the basketball, but so much goes into being able to dunk a basketball.
Yeah, yeah. I don't
Everything.
think Sean Baker gives a shit about basketball, but
Right.
what he does care about is the ability to be able to have the explosive power to jump that high.
The explosive power, the hand-eye coordination, uh, the ability to just land. It's all well and good if you can get up there and dunk it, but you got to come
Yeah,
back down, right? How many times you jump off the top bunk and then your feet hit the cold tiles? Yeah, it buckles you. Like to land after dunking when you're
he's
60, that's an accomplishment.
he's 6'5"
Yeah, he's a big boy.
and 260 pounds.
Yeah,
So he's a big dude.
big dude.
Like he's a
Like
a big man.
he could be playing linebacker or fucking defensive end in the NFL. Like he's huge.
Well, I think his background, he played rugby
Oh yeah,
as a kid,
yeah.
and then was a pretty elite rower, I think.
Yeah, he keeps doing those
And
little like test things, and he's trying to be like the number one at like the 100-yard dash or
yeah,
something. Is it?
I
Man,
think
he
he's
fucking
I think
rips
he
it.
does hold I think he does hold world records in rowing in
Okay.
his age group.
Wow.
But like I mean, he's a freak athlete, isn't he?
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah,
mad
it
to
is,
think
man.
that he only eats meat.
Only.
Like,
Yeah, it's crazy.
and he's almost 60.
How old's he now?
I think he's like 58.
Fuck, 2 years and we get to see him dunk. Fuck.
Like
He's almost.
that's. I mean, how much? What percentage of people can dunk?
I think the better question is, what is the average height that a dunk can be performed? Because it's significantly harder as someone that's 5'11" versus someone that's 6'8". So
Yeah,
I
but
know I
but
know the height of the shortest guy that can dunk when he did it, and he was 5'6", and his name was Spud Webb, and he dunked it. So
no one under 5'6" has ever dunked a basketball.
that would be something to look at. But in the NBA, when Spud Webb played for the Atlanta Hawks, yeah, he was dunking, and he's 5'6".
How does he reach that? A basketball hoop is 10 feet tall.
You should definitely see this guy's hops, man. he can jump
Have you seen Cristiano Ronaldo jumping for a football?
like a header.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that guy is an insane athlete. He jumps up, and when he jumps, there's a very famous goal. And he scored a lot of them, right? But There's a very famous goal he scored for Real Madrid against Manchester United. And the ball comes into the box, and the ball looks way too high.
Yeah.
It looks like no one's getting on the end of that. And he jumps up, and by the time he jumps up at the apex, his feet are practically at the same level as the defender's face.
Yeah, that's wild.
And he smashes that ball in, and you just look at him and you think, shit, we're seeing something different here. We're seeing a differently built person that he's
Yeah.
able to do that. Like the clearance that he's able to get. Like, I've never seen him dunk a basketball, but I'm sure he could.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, I bet he's never trained for it, but I reckon he could do it today
Yeah.
with that
Yeah.
with that leap.
Yeah. I'd
Like,
say
if
you could.
if you're 6 feet tall, I imagine you've probably got, I mean, at least an extra foot, right,
Yeah.
up to reach up.
6 foot. So you want
So
like you'd want to be able to jump like 2 foot vertical minimum.
I mean, that's no joke, is it?
No, like as a minimum, no, that's no joke. And not like a box jump. It's not like you're static to jump on a 2 foot box and tuck your knees up. No basketball
Yeah.
player dunks like that unless you're Shaq, who's 7'1". But you don't jump like that to dunk. You're leaping off 1 foot, especially if you're
Yeah.
running with it, right?
Basketball players are freak athletes, aren't they?
Yeah,
Like,
and
they
it's
have
very
to be.
interesting. It's very interesting to see like they're kind of like training, and they don't really have like this crazy kind of like recovery like the NFL does, or kind of like any other sport, I guess. Their belief is that the reason why they can jump so high, or because they are so quick to it, is because like they don't really foam roll. They like the muscles kind of like stay on all the time, which means it's more prone to more injuries. But
Yeah,
they
I've
don't
I've
really
always wondered.
focus on like the obviously they don't focus on the bench press or something like that. But they stay quite what's the word I'm looking for? Not static, but just quite fuck. I don't know. Just yeah, they don't really foam roll. They don't really recover.
Are you
They don't really
saying
get
are you saying that they're just always in the zone?
not so much always in the zone, but like the muscles, like for example, if you went for a 10K run, you'd kind of feel sore in your quads, your hamstrings, and calves. Kind of like after a game for them, they're not really like, ah, shit, like played 30 minutes on the court. I'm going to go on the foam roller. I'll jump in the ice bath. I'll get a lacrosse ball under my calf. They kind of don't really do that. They just kind of like stay, stay sore, but kind of stay ready. If that's what I'm looking for. It's not really what I'm looking for.
Right,
It's
because the
kind of like that.
recovery time between games isn't very much.
Well, you can play 3 or 4 games a week.
Yeah, I
This
always wondered
method, though,
that how
yeah, like
how
this,
like hockey players and basketball players are able to play so many games, whereas
yeah,
look at soccer or rugby or American football, and they play once a week.
yeah. It's especially now that you mentioned NHL, that's a different fucking kettle of fish. Because those guys are legit mental patients
Yeah, because they
on
play
the
like
ice.
every 48 hours.
Yeah,
How do they do that?
yeah. It's crazy, man. And the body
I
hits
know.
like the checks into the boards, and you're on ice. Like you're not falling. You're not falling on grass or
Now I
turf.
know I know they don't play a full game, right?
Right. But
And
if
what I
you're a
mean what I mean by
star,
that, in
you're playing a
yeah,
few
but
minutes
in
for sure.
soccer players play 90 minutes uninterrupted, right?
Yeah.
Whereas if you play basketball or ice hockey, you might be on for 30 seconds, then off for 30 seconds.
I think the best way to look at that is like your starting lineup: Luka Doncic, LeBron James, well, maybe Jason Tatum. These guys out of 24 out of 48 minutes total time, playing 30 minutes, you are a star. And these guys might do like 35, 40 minutes. Anyone that's doing less than 30 minutes, you're a second and third string, right? You're not
Right.
on the starting lineup. So you are getting moved about. But to do 30 minutes, that only means you're taking a rest every 2 minutes and a quarter, kind of thing. 3 minutes and a quarter. So,
Yeah, but if you're a top soccer player, you play 45 minutes, you have a break, and then you'll play another 45 minutes.
yeah.
And you generally play the full 90 minutes most of the time.
Especially if you're someone like Erling Haaland, Cristiano Ronaldo, these names.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I've never really seen how and why the guys are able to recover so much quicker. And look, in the Premier League, there's a lot of clubs who have a lot of injuries, and a common explanation for that is just how many games they have to play now. But they still don't play anywhere near the amount of games that they play in ice hockey or basketball.
Yeah, if your team makes it to the playoffs and you have to do 4 rounds of playoffs and you have to do 7 games because the competition's good or whatever, you're doing like 120 games a year. More. Maybe it's like 130.
Yeah, and if you're a top soccer player and your team gets to the final of a lot of competitions, you might play 60 games.
Yeah, it's like double, isn't it? It's crazy.
So
You can
so
argue,
like
you can argue and say, oh, because the hockey guys wear pads. Fuck, man, you need to wear pads. This
yeah, but
imagine not
not
wearing
even
pads
just
or a
from
helmet.
not even from like I'm not even like mainly thinking from a bumps and bruises kind of aspect. I'm thinking just from like a
Just from general
muscle.
wear and tear.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Any
it's
pro
crazy.
athletes out there want to let us know?
Yeah, that would be sick.
I went for a bike ride yesterday, and my legs are sore AF today.
What was your elevation?
I don't know. I don't use Strava anymore.
Okay. Um,
I know that's not much of a story,
but
but I know the
how
route. I
long?
know
How
the
long
route,
was the ride?
and I it was about 60 miles.
Dude, that's like 100. That's 100 k's.
Yeah, I think it was. It was. Look, I'm not going to claim 100k.
60
It was
miles
it
is
was
100
probably
k's.
90. It was probably 90 something k.
Why didn't you come do a fucking half Ironman with me, you big bitch?
Can't swim.
Well, you got something to learn, then, don't you?
Can't swim for toffee. Listen, when I was in Hawaii and I was trying to surf, right?
Yeah.
I paddled for about 5 minutes trying to get out there, and my shoulders were blowing up,
Burning.
burning. Listen, surfing's really hard.
Very hard, man. Very fucking hard.
Like, surfers are good athletes.
Yeah, they are
Like
very.
that is a hard sport to do well,
I remember.
and it's an even harder sport to do poorly.
Yeah, because you get fucking smacked about, held underwater. Um, yeah, no, they're very strong. They're very good at cardio, mental, hand, eye, feet, fucking
Yeah,
coordination. The
balance.
works. So someone like I remember
Yeah,
when I first started snowboarding, someone was like, "Yeah, it's like a hybrid between surfing and wakeboarding." I was like, "Shit, this is gonna be fucking hard." Like wakeboarding took me so long to get up, and like surfing, I never really truly got up. And then I'm like, this is gonna be fucked. That's not the hard part with snowboarding or surfing. The complete difference is that the ground beneath you surfing is moving whatever way it wants to.
Yeah.
When you're snowboarding or skiing, the turf is there. The turf doesn't move under you. You move on top of the turf.
Yeah.
But surfing, the water moves under you. Like it's fucked.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what was um, quite annoying actually when you surf in Hawaii is that they have such a low tolerance for beginners out there.
There's no like bunny hill, is
Like,
there?
listen, Hawaiians. I like Hawaii a lot, and I like Hawaiians as well. They talk a lot about aloha and
Yeah.
being mahalo and all of this, right? But when it comes to beginner surfers, that all bets are off, right? Like they are brutal to beginner surfers. They don't want you there. They don't want you in the water. They don't want you anywhere near the waves that they're trying to get on.
Yeah, it's a funny kind of like mindset. It's a little bit similar in Australia. I think they're a little bit more lenient in a sense, but I think the big thing that goes through their mind is that they've got a finite amount of time to do this. They might have to go to work or they've got other things to do. And they don't want to be fucking around, seeing you fucking arms in the air going, oh, fuck, I think I'm dying. I think I'm drowning. Like, they got no time for you, man. They just, like, get up,
No,
catch a wave, and if you can't do it,
no, I get it. I understand it.
yeah,
I'm just saying that it's not very hospitable of them. Let's say,
yeah.
but
The more I think about it now, I think that's the surfing culture.
yeah,
Like, you're just
I
really,
think it
like,
is
you're
as
just
well.
really bad. You're a beginner, and you're going to go out at these really obscure times. You're not going to get the first morning waves because that's where all the pros are getting it because then they've got to go to work. And you're not getting the afternoon waves because all the pros are knocked off work and now they just want to get to the fucking beach. So you're going to have to find this time. And there's no other place to
Mm-hmm.
practice. You can't go and practice tennis or squash. It's not like that. You have to be at this wave. And it's different because now
Mm-hmm.
the swell today is different than tomorrow and different to the next day and different to the next day.
And
So
different to the morning as well.
different to the morning, different to the afternoon. It's just fucking different. It's always changing. So until you learn that, I think that's where it's like that's where the camaraderie begins. It's like, hey man, you caught that wave, that was sick, and then it's just like this, the build up. And once you're in, I've got a feeling once you're fucking in,
Yeah,
you are in.
yeah. Once you've got it dialed in, it seems like a great big circle jerk then. But
Yeah,
it's like until that point, they're like, who is this guy?
yeah,
You know, and you get yourself in the wrong place, and you're trying to paddle back out, but you're in the wrong place, right? So you're getting hit by 4 or 5 or 6 waves in a row, and you're
yeah.
just getting pushed further and further back. And they're just sitting there. They're just sitting on their boards watching you, being like,
It's so effortless.
"Who
Once they
who
have it,
brought
it's
this
so
guy?"
effortless.
Yeah, like and like you can be there paddling as hard as you can, shoulders blowing up, right? Just trying to get out of the way.
Yeah,
And there's people who aren't even that far away from you. They're maybe like 10 or 15 feet away from you, but that's enough that they're not in the break zone,
yeah.
and they're just gliding along the water, just like just effortlessly paddling 3 or 4 times as fast as you.
I don't know where you
That's
were
such
trying to get your. I don't know where you were trying to get your practice in, but I tried to get my practice in with a school on Pipeline. Did you try and surf Pipeline? Not the real deal
no,
pipeline, but the same break. This is fucking.
no, I didn't try it. I
It's
was just surfing in Waikiki.
okay, yeah, yeah. So it's like if you can imagine where Pipeline is on the North Shore. There's all these different breaks down on the North Shore, So close. I forget the name of the town, but there's a little spot there, and that's kind of like the tame spot. It's not pipeline with these fucking barrels. It's this nice swell, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I remember it was like a 2 or 3 man kind of like lesson. So we're out there, and I remember the guy's like, "Go, go, go," and I'm like, "Okay," so I'm like paddling, and I pushed up, and as I pushed up, I'm like, "Oh, my feet's all wrong," and just like flip the board up upside down. I was like, "Fuck!" So I come back up, and I'm resting on the board, and as I look up, there's a mother with her baby sitting. The baby's sitting on the front of the longboard. She's paddling, pushes up, stands up, picks up the baby, and just rides this thing. Stares at me and was just like aloha, like with the fucking chakra, just like woo. And I was like, you, no, this isn't even fair, man. That baby,
No, it's
this
not
baby,
fair.
this baby had a diaper on. That's how young this fucking baby was. Well, not a toddler, like a fucking baby. If the baby went in the
A
water,
baby.
it might have drowned. But being Hawaiian, it probably would have swam to the beach. I don't know, but it was a baby.
I'll tell you what, though, there's something special about surfing in Hawaii.
Yeah,
Like, locals aside, it's actually pretty incredible in it. Like, I'm very much a beginner surfer, and surfing in Hawaii is a lot of fun. But how much of that is down to the fact that the water's warm and is crystal clear,
yeah,
and the all of the surf infrastructure that you could ever want is there.
yeah. It's perfect.
Like there's a big difference between trying to go surfing in England
Dude, I'm from
when
Tasmania,
the
man.
water's yeah
Even
when
in
the
the
water's
dude,
13 degrees and brown.
in in the fucking winter, people still go out, and when they go out, it's a 5 mil wetsuit, hoodie, booties, gloves. You get
Yeah, it's a
fucking
different breed
frostbite
that.
surfing in that shit. Even in the summer, you still need a wetsuit.
Yeah.
Like Hawaii, Fiji, Bali, Tahiti, like all these places, man.
Mm. Yeah,
Great,
like
great
when
spots.
when you there's something magical about just being in the ocean, in the water when it's warm enough that you don't need a wetsuit. You're just
Yeah,
out
it's good.
there.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what though, I shit myself when I was paddling out and a fucking seal swam up next to me.
Oh, awesome.
And I wasn't looking, right, but I just saw this thing feet away from me.
You thought you were gonna lose a limb.
And of course, in that second, you think it's a shark.
Your heart just drops.
All you can see is this thing, and the water's not that deep, right? It was where I was at that point. It was maybe only about 4 or 5 feet deep.
Yeah.
But you see this thing moving in the water next to you, and it's this kind of dark grey color.
Jaws.
And
Coming for a nibble.
for half a second, you think, "Shit, this is it."
Dude, you just got to do a Kelly Slater. Was it Kelly Slater? Punch him in the nose. Bang.
I was Mick Fanning
Mick
punched a
Fanning. That's
shark in
right.
the nose,
Yeah, yeah.
but no, it was great. It was great. I mean, there was one time I fell off the board. I did actually stand up on it, but then I
Yeah.
fell off, and it wasn't very deep. And I smashed my knee on the coral,
Oh.
and I didn't realize how bad it was until I got out of the water, and I woke up on the beach, and my whole leg is just covered in blood. Like, oh shit! I didn't realize what I'd done.
That's real bad, eh? Like you bail in the coral.
Yeah, I mean, sharp, hard
Well,
coral there.
but if you get coral stuck in your leg and you don't get it all out,
Yeah,
it can fucking grow. You'll look like fucking Pirates of the Caribbean.
I'll tell you what, I know a guy. His name is Lars, German fella. We used to call him Lady Legs Lars because he had legs like a lady. And he went to Hawaii a few years ago. and he stood on a sea urchin,
Oh, it's the fucking
and he had to
worst.
have. I think he had to have surgery
Yeah, probably.
to remove that.
Yeah.
So now every time I can't shake that because I mean, how easy would it be to step on a sea urchin, right?
But they're always around that kind of climate, right? Warm
Yeah,
waters.
you like, and if it's not a sea urchin, it could be anything else, right?
Fucking yeah. What is it called? A stonefish in far north Queensland. You seen those fuckers?
No.
Oh, don't Google them. It's nightmare fuel.
Oof.
Got a spike on them. If you stand on them, it's like highly poisonous. No.
See, this is why I don't normally go in the ocean very much.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that can fuck you up in
There's
the
a lot of
ocean.
shit in there, and you're so defenseless.
Yeah.
But it's worth it in Hawaii.
Yeah.
I think we better wrap this up.
Yes, man.
But it's good to be back, isn't it?
The return of the Mac.
Yeah. I think everyone will enjoy this one.
Yeah, it's a good one, man.
All right, sports fans, we'll see you again next week.